So yesterday I did a video. We were able to do the header, and this the outcome. We had the border. We also did the background color and also changed the font families uh, for for the header and the paragraphs. So that's what we had. So today I'm going to do a bit more styling. Okay. So I want to style this header to look a little bit better. So I want to push these navigation links to come down a little bit. So that's what I'm gonna do here. I'm going to use margin top so that I push them away from the top. So anytime you're pushing an item from the top, you always use uh, a positive value. Either if you're pushing it away from the left or pushing it away from bottom or from right or from top, you always use a positive value. But if you're pushing them towards the top or towards the bottom or towards the left or right, use a negative value. So here I want to push this away from the top. I'm going to use a positive value. In this case, I'm just going to use 3.5 em. So that pushes them down there the way they are. And then the next thing, I don't want to see these dots. The dots here, I want to remove them. So I'm just going in the an order list, which is under the nav tab or the nav group which I made, and I'm going to do list type or list style, and I want it to be none because I don't want to have any list style. So as you can see, it is gone. So the next thing, I don't want to see this underline, so I'm going to remove it. So to do that, I have to select the anchor tag for the navigation links. So I'll do nav anchor tag like that, and then I'll use text decoration, and I don't want to have any, so I use none. And with that, you can see the underline is gone. So the next thing, I want to increase the size, the font size for this. So I'll come here in the font size. I'm going to increase it to, let's say, 18 pixels. Okay, so that increases the size a little bit. So next, I want to have background colors for all this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I can have that background color for behind, like under the given and the anchor tag or the text itself. So let's say if I choose sky blue and I save, you can see I have it like that. And I can apply padding, can do padding. Let's say I do 1 em. Okay, so that's how it looks right now. And I can center the text. I can do text align center like that. So my text will be at the center. Then if I want, I can make these corners not to be the way they are. Maybe I want them to be a little bit maybe curving or they were like. So you can do all those styling. If I want to have a border here, I can apply that. So I can do all those kind of stuff. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I want, if I hover, the color for the font and the text to change, the background color to change, and also the text to change. So I'll do nav, then I'll do hover like that. And so I want the background color, if I hover the background color, I want to change it to, let's say, to teal. Hopefully we'll see much difference. Let me see. Yeah, so you can see the background color changes. So I also want the text color to change, and I want it to be black. Okay, so if I hover, you can see the text color changes from blue to black. So I can make this text to be more bold, and I can use font weight. Okay, so I can choose 700 as the value. So anytime I hover, the text is more bold and is black like that. Okay, so let's say I'm done now with the head. So the next part is this part. So I changed this from an image to a video, and this how I did. So I have the video tag, and then I have the source, then I have the actual link or the source of the video. Then I have the other stuff such as autoplay so that it plays automatic, and then I have this control so that if someone wants to stop it, they can stop it from playing. And then loop makes it when it gets to the end, it starts afresh without anyone having to replay it. So I'm going to style that. And so I can see I have a class here, and the class is banner. And so this is like the first child, and then you have another child. So I'm going to style, and I want it to display using grid. So I'll select the class that I used, and then I want it to display grid like that. And so I can set the columns that I want, and I want to have two columns, one as one FR and the other one as two FR like that. And so if I save, you can see that text that was down here, it has disappeared. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is to specify I want the image to occupy from this end to the other end. So for the video, so I'm going to select it like that, and then I'll give it. I want it to occupy the entire from the vertical line for column 1 here to the last vertical line of the column here. And so it will start from 1 all the way to the last line, which is 3. So if I do that, you can see this text now is thrown, it comes below. And so the next thing that I'm gonna do is I want this video not to overlap the way it is doing right now. So I'll use max width. I'll do max width 100%. And so if I save, you can see it's the given size that is supposed to be. And so the next I want this text, this the button and this paragraph to be somewhere in here. So what I'll do, so I used, you have to be to ensure you use the exact class name. So don't, if you mistake, let's say here I've used the name book, and I come here and instead of writing book, I just write like that. And so I can, if I do like grade column, and let's say I want it to start from vertical line 1 to vertical line 2, and I want it to be row 1. So if I save this, you see nothing happens. And so if you do that, you might just end up telling people, I'm doing my CSS but it's not changing. Please somebody help me. And no one can help you because no one can come into your CSS and try to see which you have misspelled. That's the only thing you can do yourself. You can go through your work to ensure everything is spelled correctly. So here if I come and I add another O and I save, you can see this text, it has come now to the top, but I want it to be here. So what I'll do, I'll go also to my video and I'll give it a row, and I want it to be row 1. So now you can see it has disappeared. I can't see it anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Z index and I'll give it that value. Okay. So if I save, you can see I have this, my text has come here. So I want to push this text to come maybe somewhere here. So what I can do is I can come and give it, let's say, I could give it, I can do margin and I want to push it from the top so that it's a little bit down, so I can do maybe, let's say, 12 p.m. from the top, and then from right I don't want it to move away from the right, then bottom I don't want it to move from bottom, but I want it to move from left, let's say by 7 p.m. So if I save, you can see where it has come, which is not the right place. So I'm going to increase the width and see how it will look like. So I'm going to give it a width, and I'm going to give it a width of 350 pixels. So you can see how it looks right now with that width of 350 pixels. Okay. So next I want to give this, let's say, background color. So I'll do a background color, and I'm going to use RGBA colors. So RGBA stands for red, RGB stands for red, green, and blue. I want it to be RGBA, red, green, blue, and alpha. So I'm going to delete this. So if you don't know the colors, you can always go online and use a color picker like that. So if you go to color picker, you can always drag this, or you can change to whichever color you want here, and you can do saturation to whichever you want. So I'm going to have this one here. I'm going to have this one here, like that. And so if I paste this color here and I save, you will see this now has a background color. So I'm going to push this a little bit to the top. So I'm going to reduce the value for the margin top here to just 10, so that it doesn't look the way it does, like that. Then I'm going to apply a height. So I'll give this a height, and I'm going to give it a height, let's say, of maybe 100 pixels, and see how it looks. Okay, that's too small, so I can do 200 pixels. Okay, that's better the way it looks. And then the next thing I can do is I want to apply padding, and I want it to have a 1 em. Okay, so you can see the way it looks. Okay, so I'm still going to push it again to the top. So this I'm going to make it to be 8 em. Okay, so like that. So however, you can see, you can't see this, it's like it's covering whatever is behind. So I'm going to apply a transparency, and the way I'm doing that is I'm going to add 0.3, that is 30%. So you can see it is transparent, I can see through. So I can still go on and uh, style the this button. Let's say I'll select it. So I select it. I have to be specific, because if I have many buttons and I just write button, it is going to apply to all the buttons. So let's say I want it to have a background color, and I'm going to give it a background color of crimson. So you can see it as a background color right now. And then I want to push it away from left, so I can do margin left, and I'm going to push it maybe uh, 5 em, and see how it will look. So it has pushed it here, but I want it somewhere here. So I can still maybe change this to 7 em. That's a little bit better. Or I can push it further, let's say 10 em, up to there. And then I can apply padding as well, and 0.5 em. Okay, you can see how it looks. I can change the text color. Let's say I can change the text color to maybe white, like that. Okay, so I can decide to make these corners to be a little bit curvy, so I can use border radius, and I can do 50 pixels. So that will make it quite curvy, as you can see the way it looks right now. Yeah. So yeah, so that's how you can do for this part. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section.